Welcome back, everybody, to another episode, another podcast edition on AV Educate. I'm here with my good friend and co-host, Austin Jackson.
What's going on? Welcome. Happy to be here with you guys for another round of goodies tonight. How you doing tonight, Omar?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm super excited about tonight. I'm super excited about our guests. I'm excited about the topic we got going on. I don't want to give too much, but I'm really excited to speak with him tonight and for everything we're about to talk about, because honestly, and with everything that's going on in the industry right now, with what's going on with COVID, with 2020, just in general, this single phrase that he created and put together, honestly, it just hits you instantly. There's no forethought. There's no thinking about it. It just hits you. You hear it. It relates to you on a level of one thing first, right? You hear the word and you're like, oh, I'm an old guy, right? But then you hear the acronym and you're like, wait a minute. Okay, this is deeper than what I think it is.
I agree. It hits you instantly and it's so powerful. It has such a strong impact, but let's not even talk about it anymore. Let's just bring the man of the hour. Let's introduce Jason Lehrman himself.
What's up, guys? What's up? How are you?
What's going on, Jason?
Another day in our newly changed world,
Yes,
Definitely.
Yes, sir.
So yeah,
how's things been with yourself, man? What's new with you? How as you said, this has been like a newly changed world. So how have you been maneuvering around in this newly found world?
I mean, just like everybody else in our industry, man, we've either pivoted, changed our focus, or started learning new things that we can better ourselves for when we move forward, like Omar was talking about. I came up with an acronym, and I'll get to that in a second. But basically what it was January 2nd of this year was my third year as an AV tech, doing camera work, video work, whatever. I've owned my business since 2009. 3 years ago, I made my business secondary to AV, and I made a change. At 41 years old, I made a change to just AV, and it became, within that 3 year period of time, this year, my first quarter was putting me on a roll to hit 100K with AV, which was big in a 3 year period of time. Starting from a stagehand, moving my way up. So, in March 6th, that stopped. I mean, COVID came and said, there is no more. You're not working anymore. I don't care that you're booked out till May. That's not happening. Today is your last day. I know you were going to leave, and you and Lorenzo were going to Orlando. You were going to another show, but that show just got canceled while people were on it.
Wow.
So, the people at the Orlando Convention Center that were on lunch came back from lunch and were tearing that show down, so wow. Everything changed right away, and not just myself, but people all over the country lost everything in the live events world in a month's period of time. Like, their entire careers just disappeared. So, wow. That being said, now I'm 44. I had just changed my career, and three years prior, I'm on the road of success within that time. I'm super stoked, and boom, everything got taken. On that ride home, I had a choice. It's either, give up, be depressed, lay down, and basically, like I was talking to you guys, die. Maybe not physically, but financially and emotionally. So what do I do? Especially, I'm not old, but I'm 44. It's not time to make another change, especially if I'm already, somewhat successful in the direction that I'm going. So, as children,
Jason, I'm sorry, I gotta cut you off because you've dropped nugget after nugget after nugget, and there's so much good information that you've said already. So if I'm understanding correctly, you're realizing everything is a complete transition to the AV market and AV industry now. You're becoming successful. You've already attained some success with this, and it's about to be next level success. The way things are projecting, you're having your best year ever, and COVID hit. Yes. And as we all say, our industry is the first to shut down, the last one to open. Fact. And you're hit with this, and you instantly took it onto yourself that you could be dying physically, you could be dying financially, you could be dying emotionally. And the reason why I say physically is because all of these other things that have been happening to people, that it's literally been causing people to take their own lives. So you've just adapted this new mindset just based on this. And deep dive, elaborate, tell me more about it.
So basically, as children, we learn stuff as an infant. We learn how to walk, we learn how to talk, we learn how to eat, we know that we're hungry, we learn these things. And as we progress throughout our age, as we get older, you know, we grow more knowledge, we learn more things. So that's where it came from: age, adapt, grow, evolve. And that was, you know, what I decided to do. You know, the word adapt is basically defined: become adjusted to new conditions. COVID was a new condition. I now have nothing. What am I supposed to do? Give up? Wow. No, I can't give up. I need to adapt. I need to figure something out. Do I go work at McDonald's? Well, that's not going to feed my family, because working as an AV technician, I understand that I have a income that has us living a certain kind of way. So I can't lose everything. I can't come home and tell my daughters they're 7 and 8. I can't say, hey, daddy lost everything, so we don't have anything. You know, I'm a firm believer in, I don't believe that money is everything, but I believe that I don't want to tell them no about things that they need, you know, so I'm going to do whatever it takes. So I figured out that I needed to adapt. And in that adaptation, I decided, you know, grow, not just grow, you know, financially, but now I need to grow my knowledge, my network. I need to reach out to other people, figure out what's coming. Read more things about what's going on with COVID, how serious it is. Is it real? Is it going to be the 2 weeks that they were saying? Is it going to be 1 month like they're saying? Or do I need to prepare for it to be 2021? And we can go back, and within the first month of all this happening, you know, I was on several other talks with several other people saying that this was probably going to last until the middle of 2021 before anything really came back serious. Wow. And when it did come back, it was going to be in a lot smaller groups. You needed to be more technical, because some of the lower positions were going to go away, and some of the people in the higher positions were going to be doing multiple tasks. I was already talking about this. And what are we doing right now? What are we seeing pre-2021? So, yes, you know, in order to do that, I had to grow my knowledge base and make sure that if somebody did call me and say, hey, can you stream? Absolutely. Can you remix? Yes, I can. And only because I saw from speaking with other people or watching Omar or watching other individuals in our industry, seeing where their adaptation was taking them, what they were adapting to, what they were learning, what directions they were moving. And I followed in suit, you know. And then evolve. Evolve is basically to develop gradually. So through this adaptation and through this growing of my knowledge base, my skill sets, and my network, I was able to, I'm slowly and gradually developing myself. And, you know, it transitioned into a company, Daytona Beach Live Stream Solutions. We've live streamed for the Daytona Chamber of Commerce here in Daytona Beach. I have a few more shows that are coming up. The Boys and Girls Club, Johnny Nomad Media. He is a local guy here in town. He has brought a lot of work my direction as well. So had I have laid down on March 6th and said, I give up, forget it, I lost everything, what do? I wouldn't be here today talking to you guys about, you know, there's other individuals that didn't do the same things that we did that are in a bad space. Or like you said, Austin, some people have in our industry have even taken their lives.
Yes, sir.
You know, they've touched physical death. We've lost a few that maybe not have been COVID related, but you know, it sucks seeing people, you know, fall that you were just working with 2 weeks prior, and you know, they're hardworking, ass busting individuals. And now they have nothing either, but they're not looking at it the same way that I may be looking at it. So, you know, I've reached out to people just like you guys have. I've done some free things, you know, so I could keep my mind right too. You know, I'm at the point where if there's a show and they're paying me half my rate, right now, it really isn't even the money. I want to get the hell out of the house and do something, especially if it's something that I can learn. I'm not saying when everything comes back to normal, call me and say, hey, please do it for free. What I'm saying is right now, if there's something and I know that everybody is doing it just to get in there and do it, I'm going to do it. Even if it's to teach somebody underneath us one thing, you know?
I agree with you 100%. Quite a few times people have asked me how is it that I was able to scale as quickly as I did in the AV industry, and it came from taking advantage of every single opportunity that presented itself. It didn't matter about the rate at the moment. It just mattered about getting out there and absorbing the most amount of knowledge that you can. And as you tell about this acronym AGE, the adaptation, and we talk about growth, I think the problem that people think is that growth is going to come. Growth and comfort don't live in the same home, man. They really and truly don't. You're gonna have to get stepped out. You're gonna step out of your comfort zone, and if you don't step out of your comfort zone, sometimes you're gonna get pushed. You're gonna get forced out of your comfort zone. But that's where the growth happens. And you took your time. You did some free. Or what did you say that you did some volunteer work, but it gave you a chance for you to be able to hone your skills, develop new skills, and that's all in the evolution. So talk to me about the mindset. So you told us that you came up with this acronym, and obviously it worked. Something inside of it was powerful enough to the point where it drove you to create this company and create a company that turned effectively so quickly. Yeah. What was the mindset behind of that acronym that was really pushing you?
It just came to me like I said, I had been on other shows about other things. My girl, she worked at one of the worst COVID ridden places here in town that got a lot of recognition. So I was talking to other people about COVID and some of the issues, and not always in a positive light. But I saw, I'm trying to put this into words. So I saw the potential for a lot of people in our industry, even though we're on net 30s and some companies net 90s, but net 30s generally. And I knew that I had checks coming because I had been working so much. You know, I knew there were other individuals that are in our industry that so much money comes so fast that they almost live check to check. So I already knew that, you know, it's going to be bad for them. So if it's going to be bad for them, it could potentially get bad for me soon. So what do I need to do? And that's what I, you know, when I came up with that acronym, I used to say it to myself every day. I'd be like, man, you need to adapt. You need to grow. It was like a positive affirmation, because I'm not going to lie. The first few weeks, I was depressed. I was in my head like, damn, man, what am I going to do? I'm 44. I got to start over. I know I can't just lay here. Yes, I have money coming in. Yes, I have money in savings. Yes, we're good. My girl's working. You know, she's essential. What do I do? So even before there was any kind of money thoughts, I made the phone calls to my car financer and said, hey, is there going to be anything I can do? You know, I lost it. I still have whatever I can pay it. And I worked out, you know, they deferred my payment for 90 days. I chose 60. So I still have one if I need it later on. I went to my other bills and changed things. I did it immediately within the first month. During that depression stage, I started changing a lot of things. Even though I had the money then and I knew I had money coming in, I didn't want to need later. And it gave me the time to get out of my head, get out of the funk, figure out, you know, that I need to do something. I have to adapt, I have to grow, and I have to evolve. And I would just say it to myself every day. And boom, I came up with the business. I reached out to clients that I had with my other company for video work, for social media marketing, with the music stuff. I reached out to people and I was able to start generating some revenue. I had insight, you know, to do something else quickly. Because if I didn't, then I would be in a very bad place right now. Because like you said, we're the first ones gone and the last ones to come back. I mean, everything is open right now and there's still no conventions coming.
Yes, sir.
There's small stuff and hybrids, but there's major companies, because I've pitched several shows to several people in the past month and they're afraid of the hybrid. They're almost okay with not doing their event and waiting till they can do it than doing the hybrid. So I'm having to physically prove to them from these other events how we can make this happen for them. And if they want to do it on a larger scale, I have an entire conglomerate of people all over the nation that want work right now. So
yes,
we can
sir.
do it as big, as safe, and as professional as you need it done. And we can do it hybrid. You don't want this guy from China to come over, or he can't come over. We can stream to him. You know, it's just we figure out his time and we send it. Like, we can do anything you need, and there's people that need to do it. So how do we make that happen? You know?
It's about finding the problem and giving out those solutions. Omar, it looks like we got some action going on in the chat. You want to bring some of that stuff up?
Yeah. So I just want to bring up Chrissy here, who had said a little bit earlier when you had mentioned about, you know, the age, right? Adapt, grow, evolve. You know, the way she worded this here is so true. I feel like a lot of people, you know, they might not have done this, right? They might not have gone to the self-reflection side and done that. I did that myself, just like you did. And, you know, I went to my dark spot. I kind of, you know, had to deal with some of my own demons to get my head out of the game. But I trusted in the vision, you know, like what I do with AV Educate, I trusted in the vision, and I would just keep doing this and working with it. Despite everything else going on in my life, you know, I was losing everything, my home, my place in Orlando, the home that I had in Hollywood, like, you know, I lost everything financially because of this, but I didn't stop. And because of it, like the rest of us here, right, we all volunteer and doing stuff to keep ourselves busy. We're seeing the fruits of our labor now, right? You know, and it's because we trusted ourselves to not just go with the flow, but to do what we thought was right for ourselves for the future moving forward. And that's why your thing, when the last couple times we talked about it, it just clicks instantly with me. And I hope other people are that are listening to you now are seeing why it's so impactful to have such an easy word that we relate to one thing but it has such a bigger meaning, you know. Yeah. Also, like Heido had said on the Facebook side, you know, as well, he's been acquiring a lot of knowledge and learning and stuff. You know, it's the one thing that I'm a big advocate of, obviously, because of what I do, but not just because of what this is, but because it is the best interest on yourself, right? Like, the more you learn, the better you are. Jason, you went from one scenario to another, and it wasn't a money thing. It wasn't you didn't win the lottery. You changed your mindset. You focused on learning something new, and you took it and you went after it. Same thing with Austin. Austin came in the industry, coming from one industry to another, saw these opportunities, saw these avenues of stuff, learned what he needed to learn, and then took what he had learned and pushed with it and went through it, right? You had a vision that you took and you just drove it. And it wasn't this, oh, I got this money, or this guy told me this. No. You guys had the idea yourselves. You learned what you need to learn, and you said, "Hey, I don't have all the answers." And you networked with your friends and your families. You call people like I do all the time. I mean, this here's us. We're all friends outside of this. We know each other. That's how we got here, right? Because we met working, we socialized, we hung out, and we're like, yo, you know what? Let's see if anybody else is interested in what we're talking about.
Right. Well, Austin said it best. I believe it was last week's show. Never has there been a time for us to be able to learn so much and so freely. You know, like COVID is a horrible thing, but it gave us an opportunity that in our industry, especially, where we could learn. Some of the bigger rental houses like OPAV opened their doors to some of us and was like, look, oh, you want to learn? Well, we have a whole bunch of stuff that isn't being used. Here you go, learn. You know, like there's people out there that, if we were in a busy time, if we were still kicking ass out there, if we were still doing everything that we normally were doing, we wouldn't have those opportunities. Exactly. Because they wouldn't have the time, not because they wouldn't want to, but they wouldn't have the time because their people are out there working. We're all on the road. We're all doing what we do best, you know, going from one to the next. Oh, I don't even know what show I'm on now. You know, we're 6 shows in. I got 2 more to go. I have another one that I'm potentially booking. I don't know what city I'm going to be in. I don't know what state I'm going to be in. Like, you know, that's the life that we choose to live, and it works out well, you know. And to be honest, you know, in a way, after the first couple of months of going through this, it kind of was a blessing in disguise, because I was gone a lot. And my daughters, you know, they're super stoked that I'm here. You know, they bug the hell out of me, but now I bug the hell out of them too, you know. So it's pretty cool. And I'm pretty sure they can't wait till I get on the road again either. But, you know, it's still fun, you know, running around the house, danger zone, and chasing them and playing and stuff that it's better than a FaceTime or something like that, you know?
Yes, sir. So what I realize is that we tend to look at the bad in these situations because we probably were a lot more focused on our income at the time, and our income's changed. So we think that, oh my gosh, everything is going south and I'm going to start failing and things aren't working out the way that they should be. However, you have to get something for your pain. Like, you went through all of this for what? Are you going to come out on the other side the exact same way that you were before? Well, then you kind of lost.
Right.
What are you going to do during this time? Where's your personal and self-development so that you can come out on the other side a stronger technician, a better technician, a faster technician, a more knowledgeable tech? And it doesn't even just apply to our industry. It applies to every area in our life. I honestly, one of the great things that I'm sure all three of us can agree on is that this has been a time that we've been able to spend with our families and our children. So this has been some time that we work on becoming better fathers, better parents, period. So these are all things that are important, because while we're out on the road and we're out there hustling and we're trying to get it, even sometimes when we're out on the road and we make that FaceTime call home, we need that just to remind us of why we're doing it in the first place.
Right.
So, I mean, put it all together. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly, man. I saw that with Robert. And real quick, man, Trady, I see you on there. Call me after this. I'm putting together a show. We need to get together on that. Sorry, that's my promotional partner. I see him watching. But yeah, you know, you're right. There's never been a time for us to do what we're actually doing, and it sucks because monetarily, some of us have lost a lot. I see Jeff just put in here what he lost. That's terrible, you know. And yeah, that's huge. 250K, you know, and
wow.
You know, that's a big deal to just overnight. What a lot of people don't understand is a lot of people have lost, and I'm not downplaying anything on anybody, because a lot of people in our country have lost. And I'm not going to go any directions on how it could be right or wrong or who could fix what. I'm just going to say a lot of people lost, and the loss isn't always just a little bit, you know, it's a lot. You have parents out there that are single parent homes that have to work. If that parent does not work, those children do not eat. And if they were not essential, they were not able to work. And some people didn't get stimulus checks, and some people didn't get unemployment, and some people didn't get these things. So whereas I had to look at it like, you know what? Yeah, I lost, but I'm blessed. My girl was essential. If it got to the point where I can't do anything, she's going to carry it. You know, she's definitely going to make sure that everything happens, you know, and my kids are going to be fed. But there's people out there that are worse off than me. So Jason, get your ass up, quit being a little bitch, and make it happen, bro. You can make it by any means necessary. You're crying about something, but you need to put the shit into play now so that in 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 months, you're still good. You know what I mean? There's people that aren't okay right this second. You have checks coming in. You know what I mean? I was blessed that the companies I worked for, AV Nation, CCR, Spartan, they paid me. Everybody who owed me paid me. Freeman, they paid me. There were companies out there where there's techs that didn't get paid and were owed a lot of money in the light of this. So not only did those people know, well, shit, they're not working anymore. It was like, oh, well, we're about to lose everything, so we're not going to pay you either. So I was blessed enough to get paid. I was blessed enough that I had money in savings. I was blessed enough to my family was still going to be good. So at the end of the day, why am I laying here in my bed, curled up in a ball, like, damn, what am I going to do, when there's people that lost that same day, same time, that weren't going to see, they couldn't last a week. They couldn't last 2 weeks and didn't. You know what I mean? So
true.
There's no reason for me. Yeah, it hurts. Yeah, it sucks. But what am I bitching for? You know what I mean? Like realistically, what am I bitching for? Let's do something else. Let's learn. Let's grow. And damn it, if I can grow and come out, like you said, at the end of this, better than I was going into it, it's only going to benefit me more. You know, who knows? I may never go back to AV. The live stream thing may grow so big.
You never know.
You never know. This may be what was meant to happen. Some people believe everything that happens for a reason. Maybe this was the reason. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm just saying, like, so rather than, you know, I go back to it, rather than lay down and wear it, I chose to adapt. I chose to grow my knowledge base, grow my network, and I chose to evolve slowly. I am gradually growing throughout this.
What you just said there was powerful too. Grow your network, because I noticed how you mentioned reverting back to previous relationships that you've had. And I just seen a comment come in from Scott. Will this COVID experience change the way you handle money in the future? That's a very good question.
Well, Scott, you know, like I said, luckily for me, I'm a little bit more financially aware than some people that are my age, you know. And you and I have talked about this before. I believe if I don't have a certain amount of money, then I can't afford something. If I don't have 10 times the amount as those Jordans, I can't afford them. I don't care what I have in the bank. If those Jordans are $200 and I don't have 2,000, I can't afford them. You know, that's how I live. I live that way.
I got to jump on this. Sorry, man. I really want the audience to hear what he's saying here, because, you know, everybody's got their 0 points.
Right.
And Jason also probably the same way I am. And I won't, you know, I'll give you out some numbers here, but, you know, my zero, for me, zero, if I got less than 5K in my checking account, I got no money.
No money.
I got no money.
Right.
If I got less than 5K in the checking account and less than 5K in savings, I got no money. I gotta hustle. I gotta work harder. I gotta do stuff. That's me saying I'm broke.
Right.
And some people are like, yo, I live paycheck to paycheck. Yo, it took me a long time.
I just had a conversation with someone and they said, man, I remember when all I had to my name was $5,000. I was broke.
Right.
And I was like, man. Yeah. I'm like, these are the people you should be having these conversations with, right, because the mindset is different.
Right.
The mindset is different. And some people wait until their account says negative 500 before they say they're broke.
But it's too late. You're in trouble.
I'm not gonna lie. I've learned the hard way in life. I've definitely learned my lessons. Right. I can't say that I've always been like this,
right,
but change your company that you keep. That network is super important, man.
Exactly. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Daniel,
yes,
I'm wearing on my shirt, he said that 1,000 times, and I say I live by that now. But you know, I've been this way not forever, but for quite some time, you know, because of my children. So it's like this: if I have negative $500 in the bank, they don't eat. If they don't eat, I'm wrong. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I live now for them. So if I have to tell them no for something, no, you can't eat tonight, we have to skip dinner, we have to eat tomorrow, that's not their fault. That's my fault. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to let that happen. I'm going to do whatever it takes, just like any other parent would. I'm going to do that. So will it change the way that I handle money in the future, Scott? Probably a little bit. It may change from, if I don't have 10 times the amount for that pair of shoes, I might have to have 20 times. But also it did change in some ways as far as where the money is going. I pulled my money out of stocks. I see a lot of people that are growing in the stocks. I didn't know it well enough, like some of the other individuals around there. So I pulled my money out of stocks and started buying gold and stuff like that, you know, because that is worth more in the long run. So I was able to do that. There's little things that you can do, and I'm nowhere near rich. So, you know, these things that I'm saying don't get the misconception that I'm balling, because I'm not balling. I just am wise enough with my money that if I don't have at least 6 months worth of my bills, then, you know, we're not surviving, you know.
Yes, sir.
I have to make sure that if God forbid something happened to my girl, I have to carry the girls for 6 months. If God forbid something happened to me, she has to do it. That's where we go back to these single family homes, you know, or even dual parent homes. If only one parent can work and it's a dual parent home that only lives on the means of both of those parents, if one can't go to work because the children can no longer go to school or daycare anywhere else because of COVID, what happens? They lose everything, you know? So I don't want to be in that position. And that's why, you know, I adapted and I'm growing and I'm slowly evolving, you know.
Man, so where you're at right now is nothing short of amazing, and all hats off and accolades to you. But I wanted to hear a little bit more about what were you doing, you said, prior to AV, before you jumped into AV. Like, what's the backstory of Jason? Where did this hustle come from? Because you're a hard worker, you have that entrepreneur spirit, and obviously your daughters are your driving force because you want to make sure that they eat. But what were you doing prior to this?
Me and Omar talked about this briefly on his other podcast. I started off promoting shows with Trady that's watching now. Myself and him, we partnered up and we brought a lot of headliners at that time. You know, the Mike Jones, we brought him when his album first came out. We brought Who? Mike Jones. Yeah. So, you know, we brought him when his album first came, you know, Pastor Troy's, like we brought headliners to clubs. That's what we did. And in 2008, I decided, you know, I was tired of paying people for my television commercials because I felt like they were charging me way too much. So I went to the First School. We sold it. We did a show, finished the show. I took my profit. I went to First School and I went for film and audio. Graduated with film and decided I was never going to do shows again. However, side note, you call me because we're talking about some shows now. But you know, again, adapting to the situation. You know, I need to start doing some other things. But you know, and getting into the video the way I did, I started doing commercials for some of the local lawyers here in town. I started doing other work, and then Breakthrough MMA. My buddy Jason, he owns that. It was one of the largest amateur MMA events in the state of Florida. And I produced, I think, 12 of the 22 shows that he did here at the Ocean Center. And that's what got me into the kind of live events scheme of things. And then I sold a show in down by Miami. I don't even remember, but it was an MMA event, a large pro MMA event. And I sold it and didn't know how I was going to do it. I sold it. You know, Paris, I love you, Paris. If you're watching this, I sold it knowing we were going to get the job done, and we got the job done. But you know, it was House of Fame MMA. It was in you know, it was down in the Miami area, and we went down there. I hired AC and I hired Michael Bernstein, and they brought their crew down. And at the time, I didn't know anything about the AV world. I just told them what we had to get done, how many cameras we needed, what needed to happen, and it got done. And everything that could happen at that show happened, but it got done. And at the end of the day, like 2 weeks later, AC called me and said, "Hey, have you ever done AV?" No. Okay, we have Windows, Microsoft coming. I'm going to put you in a room with that. He put me with Dave Macon and Lloyd Lozano. I love those brothers, but he put me with Lloyd and Dave over at the Hyatt, the Hyatt, and where the igloos were. And I worked there with them, and I never turned back. You know, I've been grinding out the AV since. And like I said, in that short period of time, the short little 3 years, if COVID doesn't come, I would have hit, like I said, my first 100K legitimate with AV only, and my business becoming totally secondary. Like I didn't have checks from Majestic Digital Media coming in at all. It was all, you know, coming through AV. You know, I wasn't pushing my company because I was on the road so much. So, you know, that's where it came from. It came from promotions. It came from hustling. It came from, you know, doing the live MMA events, and then
it all tied together so beautifully because the promotions led into the commercials. The commercials got you into the video scene. Video got you into the MMA world. Now you're putting all of this hustle together. And you just happen to network amongst the right people. But one of the things that I absolutely love that you said, and I hope people take notes, is you jumped in. You said yes. You had no idea how you were going to make it happen, but you knew that you could make it happen by the network that you had around you. You said yes to the opportunity, took advantage, and then made something happen.
Absolutely. And I knew wholeheartedly that we could get it done because I was already doing it by myself on a smaller scale. And I knew, you know, they say it all the time. It's not what you know, it's who you know, so I knew when we sat down and he told me his budget and I told him that we could work with that budget, I made it happen. And when we were done with it, you know, it happened, and he was stoked and everything was beautiful. So I'm a firm believer in that. I did the same thing with the Chamber of Commerce. You know, I knew we could get it done. I sold the gig knowing that we could get it done. I knew the people that would be able to make it happen. And what I'm saying here is, by saying that I sold it not knowing how I was going to do it, what I'm saying by saying that is I cannot do it myself. Yep. It's impossible for me, for you, or for Omar, or for anybody who's watching this to complete a show like what we do by ourselves. So we can sell that show, but then it's up to us to figure out who we're going to place where to make sure that not only does that show go off amazingly, but every fuck up that happens throughout that show is fixed by the people that you've put into place to fix it, so that the client at the end of the day doesn't see all those fuck ups, know that their show was flawless, it was beautiful, they're happy, and they're already cutting the check for the next year.
Yes, sir. This is what they don't get to see on the back, behind the scenes, behind the curtains.
Right.
This is what they don't get to see.
Right. And that Phil right there, he was one of the camera operators at the Chamber of Commerce, man. Phil, shout out to you. He's a local guy here, and he works with the city of New Smyrna Beach. He does their live streaming work for the city. So
nice.
You know, that's pretty cool. Hey, Phil, I appreciate you watching it, man.
So I got a good one from Chrissy I want to say it's for you, Jason, here.
Okay.
She asked a very good question, I thought. Expectations of your intended career growth versus the lifestyle of achievements in the Navy. I guess that goes for both Jason and you. You know, for me, unfortunately, I've lucked out. My dream as a child was to do this industry, was to be a video engineer, was to be in the AV world. So I am doing what I've always wanted to do. So like, there was no other path. You know, it's one of those things like with Arnold, it's like, if you don't have a plan B, you go for it. And I did all my middle school, high school. I did the military to serve my country for a little bit, and then when I got out, I went right back into AV. There was no hesitation for me. This was my chosen path. So for me, it's a little bit different. I know you guys have different experiences than that. So I think that either one of you can answer that right now.
Right.
Go ahead, Jason.
So for me, it was more of a pivot. So like I said, I was on the route to a very good, my first good year. And for some people that have been in AV for a long time, that's still not a good year. But for me, it was going to be the best year in AV. I had no thoughts of leaving AV. I had no thoughts. You know, I still worked with some other artists. I still managed some other individuals, you know, but that all was I was slowly making my way out of all of that to put my focus 100% into the AV world. And it wasn't just because of the money. It was because of the people, the network, the show itself. I loved the fact that I could do the shows. So, you know, I had no thoughts of changing that. You know, what I did know is this year I was going to put in so hard that next year I'd be able to balance out a little more with family. 3 weeks on, 1 week off. That was my plan. But as far as me pivoting now and going the live streaming direction, or getting back into promoting some of these shows and booking some of these artists that I've already been reaching out to, you know, that's more of, I have no choice. I have to figure something out. And at 44, I can't restart a whole nother career. So I'm going to go back to what I know how to do, and that I know can generate a good ROI on whatever investment I put in. So, you know, I don't want to pivot. If they said that everything was open up tomorrow and that the conferences were coming back, I'm calling every company that I work for and letting them know, look, I'm available. And for the first 3 shows, you can cut my shit in half if you want to. I don't care. Let's get back to work. But after the 3rd show, we're all in now, you know, just make sure we're all in, you know? So, and I don't want to say that you know, I don't know. I wasn't going to leave AV. I was going to end up doing this until I couldn't do it anymore.
So, I love that answer, by the way, Jason, because your passion shows, and that passion, that hunger is necessary when it comes to success, because a lot of times we're not going to have it all figured out, right? So we ask ourselves, how can we figure this out? How can we make something happen? So I'm committed when it comes to AV. And at the moment, we may not particularly have shows and things of the sort, but I was having a conversation with someone, and the person, he's well off financially. And the conversation we're having, we're talking about developing 7 streams of income.
Right.
And automatically when I heard that, I thought probably the same thing that many people thinks, that 7 streams of income, which means that I have to get money from here, I have to get money from there, money from here, money from there. And what I learned in that conversation was we can use one tool or one resource or one asset and multiply the streams that come out of that same thing. So whereas we may not be able to make money from having live event shows right now, there's streaming still going on because people still need connection amongst each other. So there's still streaming going on. There's OPAV did an excellent job of putting together these virtual concerts.
Right.
That's another avenue. And there's AV going on at so many new building and constructions that's going on, whether it's permanent installs, but there's so many different markets and angles that if you had to pivot at the moment, even to something that you don't know so much about, take the time to develop the knowledge and develop another stream and get even more skills in your field. This is your career. This is what you do. So why not get as skilled as you possibly can be?
Right. And that fits into the grow part of Adapt, Grow, Evolve. You know, you know this, and this. I know how to promote shows. I know how to manage artists. I know how to edit content, and I know how to run shows. Well, how do I make those all make me money at the same time? That's part of growth. And if I figure out how to do that, which I'm slowly beginning to realize, you know, how I can do that. You know, I don't have to do everything myself, hire somebody else to do it, do this, do that, you know, let your money make money for you. You know, that's part of the growth and the evolving part. You know, and I read something, check the credits. He is a video producer in Orlando. Dope, super dope. He's a music video producer out there. He posted something the other day that I read that said, just because you have $1 million doesn't make you rich. It's the time that you have. If you have $1 million, but you have $100,000 a month that you have to pay out, you only have 10 months of time. So what we're doing right now has more value than money itself. We have time to learn new things that are going to add value to us later that'll make us money. You know what I mean? Corey Riddle, I see you, man. But
see you, Corey.
But you know, I don't agree with everything with you, but I love you. See, and that's the thing about AV. You know, I love that guy. I love working with him. I don't agree with half the shit that he's out there with, but I love him. And when I'm gonna hug him. That's AV. We don't call ourselves a team. We don't say these are the guys I work with. It's the AV family. That's why I don't want to leave. Yes, it's good money.
It's brotherhood, man.
You have to know your shit. Yes, it's stressful. Yes, you might not sleep for a couple days while you're, you know, just whatever, man. It's a beautiful thing though, man, especially when you close the doors on the truck and the show is over. So, you know, it's all in how you perceive it. You know, we've talked a lot about the financial aspects of things. Kyle, I see you, man. I love you, brother. And we were in Kyle and I were in Miami for the Super Bowl, killing it. But the whole thing is, it's not just about the money thing. Like I said, $1 million. What advice do you have for AV people to stay sharp in the field? Learn. There's so many, like AV Educate on Omar's page. They have so much and I apologize. Hey, so listen, that's the thing. Like Chrissy, we need, like, I'm with these guys on AV Educate every Sunday or Monday, whatever day we're doing now. We need some strong, powerful AV women, because there's women out there that run circles around us guys. And it you know, like knowledge wise and work wise, like that get out there and bust it. And I'll tell some of these new stage hands, you need to tighten the fuck up, because you're killing it, you know. But the only advice I would say is, you know, there's pages like Omar's that have so many resources to free classes, to companies that, you know, that are giving him discounts for, you know, that are, you know, their classes might be X amount, but now they're giving them discounts because of what he's giving back to our community. So the only advice that I would say is exactly what I'm doing. Learn, read, watch videos. I'm doing the Dante course. I'm not an audio guy. I'm a video guy. However, you need to know audio when you're streaming. So what do I need to do? I need to start learning that as well. You know, Ed Willock, the ability to pivot is critical.
Yes, he's absolutely correct.
I can't wait till I do it so much that I can fly you in to work one. You know
notice how we all stopped to give Ed our full attention.
Yeah,
on that.
right.
That's the power Ed Wallach has on everybody he touches.
I think that was a Jedi mind trick. These are not the droids you were looking for.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if he was like sitting next to his girl and he said, watch this. He said, everybody pause.
Hey, Adam J. Burnlin just put something down here. PMA, positive mental attitude. Yeah, man. And that, okay, you just put it up there. Yeah, that's real. Like I'm telling you, like the first few weeks I was in a funk, you know, I was in a funk and I was happy with the girls. I was smiles, I was playing, but on the inside in my mind, I was like, you know, it was killing me because I didn't know what to do. And like I said, man, when I sat down and really realized there are a lot of people, like we're not just talking about a few hundred people. We're talking about millions of people in our industry, out of our industry that were way worse of a situation than I could have ever thought that I was in. So who am I to be laying there depressed? You know what I mean? Like, who am I? I'm nobody. I'm nobody compared to somebody who's literally lost it all. You know, I may have lost what I did. I may have lost that income that would be coming in, but I didn't lose literally the ability to feed my family, the ability to pay my rent, the ability to do some of the things that some people did lose by working paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah, I agree. Positive mental attitude is extremely important. It is what gets you out of the funk. It's what pushes you to the next level. And something that you said just now, I wanted to touch and follow up on, Jason, is it is extremely crucial. It is crucial to know that no matter how bad things may seem, someone always have it worse. Right. Someone always has it worse. I remember I saw this one picture of this child who I'm assuming he probably is in Africa or something, and he's on his knees in torn garments, drinking in his hands from a river that looks like it's flowing with muddy water. And the caption on the picture said, "God, forgive me if I'm ever ungrateful."
Right.
No matter how bad things may seem, someone always has it worse. So with that alone, we have to know that it's not going to be like this. Like I said in the video this past Sunday, this too shall pass.
Right.
I wonder if it's going to happen, but how can we make it happen? What's next? Okay, that happened. What are we going to do about it? What's next?
Right. Facts. Ed is also the brains behind this talks. Yeah.
Ed is the brains behind a lot, and he's the silent assassin too. And don't, hey, you know what? I'm gonna give Omar is the same way too. Omar doesn't get half of the credit that he deserves. He's a brilliant guy, and if you really want to know what you should be doing during this time off, deep dive into AV Educate. Seriously, there's a ton of knowledge there for you to deep dive into, and it is one of the few platforms that is out there that is unselfish and caters to the development for AV technicians out there. And that's what you need. That's what you need.
And Ed and Omar were the voices in my head today. Ed was over here. Did you text Omar about the meeting? And then I'm over here. It's like, you better hurry up and text me. And then Ed is over here like, you better text him again. And then Omar is over here like, I got you. So, you know, I'm hearing these voices. I'm making sure, you know, when Omar's over here, I'm like, okay, we're good. He's about to send it. But Ed's like, did you text him? You know, I really think he has some Jedi mind stuff going on with all of us, you know.
He gets it done.
Yeah, AV Trainer is watching us now too. How you doing, brother? How you doing? People's out there, AV Trainer.
So I just want to give the community out there just a heads up right now. We're at the last 10 minutes. This segment that Austin and Amir are hosting is a little bit shorter than our other talks with Ed Wallach and Christopher Brown. This is more of a one-on-one with Jason here, who's done a talk for us. If you guys haven't seen his AV talk with us before, it's in the video side and the AV tech side. In the series we have, he did a whole thing about the A10 Mini, multiple camera shots, multiple angles. We dove pretty deep into it. He did a fantastic job. He was one of our first ones. He's kind of like early adopter with a lot of things we do. So, you know, from me to you, Jason, thank you so much for always doing that. We have a podcast that'll be coming out that we talked about that particular show a little bit more in depth. There's another show we brought him on as well with me and Austin because we just wanted to be here and collaborate and talk to everybody here. But again, thanks for the credit, guys. My bank account is being emptied out as I give you guys all this cash for this shout outs. I appreciate that a lot. But on the real, people, we have less than 10 minutes left. Do you have any questions for Jason or Austin about what we're talking about today? Austin is my co-host with me on these podcast editions. Jason is our special guest about age. I feel like the community is definitely connected with what he's saying, with what's going on. If you have any questions directly for him or for Austin, for myself, that we can answer for you, just know we got, again, 9 more minutes left on the clock. We are going to try to stay as close on time as possible, but I do want to get you guys questions. I hope you're liking this format that we're providing to you. Again, and honestly, this was Ed's idea to do a follow-up to what our shows are so we can get guys involved in a little bit deeper, get a little more one-on-one, get more communication on. And I got to tell you, I'm loving this conversation. I mean, time has flown by real quickly. It's been very smooth and transitioning. For the audience out there, there's been no script, no planning. We had a conversation one day. We all agreed to it. We showed up literally 30 minutes ago, got on to the platform, started doing the stream and everything. And we're here now. And it's been pure from the heart, pure honesty, pure legit, trying to just give back to the community the best we can and educate you guys on what we think is beneficial for you. So last time I'll say it, 8 more minutes left on the clock, guys. Do you have any questions for us? If not, we'll keep talking because obviously we can keep talking because this conversation is going fantastic. I'm loving what I'm hearing. I love Jason that you started off a little bit after we got going with a little definition of what these are. And just in case anybody's tuning in a little bit late, age, adapt, grow, evolve is Jason's baby. He's trademarked that thing. That is his. He's created it.
I'm actually working on the trademark as we speak.
He's working on it. It is a great thing. I guess I got to pay you for that now too. So let me just get off here and start emptying the accounts to you. All right.
Well, I see Scott asked a question here. He said, what has your ROI been for the giving you have done? So Scott, I'll sum it up in a nutshell. I've met and networked with some amazing people, and the monetary, I can't put a monetary value on that. What I can say is from the giving that I did, I was able to meet like-minded people. I was also able to start a new business. I was able to see through what other people were doing that there was a gap now here in my market, because I'm not in the same market as Scott. I'm not in the same market as Omar. I saw that there was a gap here in my market. So I created a company to fill that gap, and I did what needed to be done. And I would not have made that move or done what needed to be done to move forward in that situation had I have not volunteered for some of those gigs and met some of those people. And to be honest, some of those gigs, it was just good to be back around some of those people. And the best part about it, we lost Ford, and I was able to see.
Wow.
So the ROI on that is, had I have not volunteered my time that night, I would not have seen Ford one more time. You know what I mean? So that kind of, I don't know, it hits me a little bit, but yeah. By giving back my time, I was able to see that brother one more time, meet some good people, see some people that I miss, and we can keep it moving,
So Austin, I'll throw this one back to you real fast. Give Jason here a break. So Chris is asking, Austin, what is your favorite piece of gear in your tool bag right now?
Yeah,
I'll give you the spotlight.
I'll show it to you, because my answer is not going to be your typical answer. It's this thing right here. My cell phone is the absolute most important piece of gear in my bag, because it is where my connections are made. I can develop any amount of knowledge and whatnot that's out there, but if I don't make the right connections and network around the right amount of people, the people in the right places, none of it matters. So when we talk about education, applied education, applied knowledge, that's where the money's at. It's out there actually making connections. So many times, Scott and I have actually had these conversations about the amount of skills that you can develop, as well as the amount of relationships that you can go outside and make. They go hand in hand. Don't forget the two. And I actually will tell you that relationships will take you further than your skills sometimes. So Pay attention to it all.
And I'm going to second that as well. Anybody who knows me, I'm big on the technical side, big on learning. But if you're just an asshole to hang out with or not a good person to be around, you're not going to get the jobs. It doesn't matter how skilled you are. I know tons of skilled guys who are great at what they do, but there's just shows that they don't get as much shows because not just a price range, but no one wants to be stuck with them for a week on end in a hotel or have to be on the road with them for months on end. There's that. It's part of the mixture. You become a team, and like Jason was saying earlier, in the AV family, where we're a mixed breed of people. We all have different innuendos, and we're different in how we do things. But we have to understand, and a lot of the top end techs, they know this. Like, you can't just be an asshole all the time. You can't have personal feelings get in the way of things. Like politics, religion, and money. Those are big factors and things. But this is the one issue where I know that I could talk to somebody about that stuff and get an honest answer back. There's other scenarios where I know for a fact, in my personal life, there's some people I can't talk to religion, money, or politics about. Are you kidding me? It'll start a fight. In this industry, it'll start a conversation. Oh, right. Well, what do you do? This is what I do. And how do you do this? And, oh, well, what about this? And my business, like, it's a whole different mindset. And it's so open and communicative that like, you guys are saying, like, it's a family thing. And sorry, I don't want to take too much time. We got 3 more minutes left. I see a couple more comments coming in, so I want to bring them up here real quick. Michael Johnson, thanks guys. It's been great. Looking forward to following it and participating more. Thank you, man. Thanks for being here so much for us. Thank you for joining.
Michael Wilson. He's gonna say you butchered his name. I'm sorry, Michael. On Omar's behalf, I'm sorry.
I'm horrible with names. If you watch any of my shows, I'm the worst. Sorry.
Jay Cray just came in. He's an artist. He is not anything to do with the AV world. He is awesome, man. I appreciate you watching, brother, and checking it out, man. And he has a couple hot little bangers out there now. He just dropped a video 2 last week, so he's on there now. Josh J. Cray Smith, go check him out.
I'm reading this Jeff thing right here. Very powerful words what he's saying. I appreciate that a lot. I do hope whoever's watching this, that we are in some way lifting your spirits. I hope you're learning from this and you got something to go. Jeff, I should have read it first, but so you have Jeff's number now. If you guys want, you can reach out to him. A great guy. If you guys didn't know him, and I'll do a little shout out for you, Jeff. Even if you don't want it, if you guys are wanting to be Zoom operators and you want to get into that field, Jeff is hosting what's called the Zoom Kitchen right now, and that is a legit platform where you get to go in, talk to someone who uses it very well, very consistently for a living. Go into that Zoom chat room and get to play with Zoom live with him and other technicians who want to learn stuff. The first one he did was amazing. He had people from LinkedIn on there, people from Facebook on there, people from Twitter were on there. Actual people that worked inside the companies were on that first one because they wanted to learn more about how to function and how to use Zoom better for the companies that they're for and just in general. If you guys haven't been watching that, go to the AV group page. It is there. It's awesome. I was on the first one as well for a little bit. I highly recommend you guys check that out. If you want to learn more about Zoom and you need that hands-on experience, which I highly recommend, not just reading the materials and stuff, go ahead and do that there.
Yeah. Good stuff.
It's the direction that our industry is transferring and pivoting to. So it's knowledge that you want to absorb as quickly as possible.
Right.
So we got a couple. I'm going to break my rule real quick. Jason, before we wrap up, do you have anything you want to say to everybody out there?
Just I put my number down in the comments. If you're want to network, hit me up. If you're down, out, bothered, having a hard time, shoot me a text or give me a call. Maybe I can be the one who listens and brings you up, or maybe not. I'm not, but that number is there. So if you're ever in a situation mentally and you need to just reach out to somebody, or if you just want to network and let's do it. I'm down to network with anybody. Use the number. Don't use it for bullshit. Let's keep it 100. And let's look out for each other and come out of this, like you said, better than ever.
Yes, sir. Love it. Love it.
And Austin, the wordsmith, the master with words here, I'll let you finish off the night here and close it out for us.
It has been a phenomenal experience sharing this time with all of you. And we've had the pleasure of hosting a wonderful guest, Jason Learman, and this acronym that he's put together, AGE, Adapt, Grow, Evolve. I hope each and every one of you actually take this acronym and apply it into your life. Use it as a mantra and affirmations in your life and in your mind as you go through these different circumstances in life, when things may go a little bit different than you ever experienced, or a little bit different than you anticipated, than you expected, or than you wanted. But use these moments to adapt, to grow, and to evolve. And you too will be on your next level and your next journey into where you want to go. Love it, man. Thank you guys for being here with us tonight.